Hi, welcome to today's aftermarket analysis journal. Gonna try to make this a quick one as I try to make this a couple times already. Basically, I'm ingested. If I sound funny or it sound weird, that is why. I have allergies. And basically just want to say I did trade Monday and Tuesday. Wasn't able to, or not that I wasn't able to. I didn't record Monday, Tuesday, because basically to sum it up, all of last week I've constantly been working, and when I work till very late at night. So I was very sleep deprived all throughout the week, and it really hit me over the weekend. And then even over the weekend, I was not really able to catch up on sleep because I had so much going on. Even on Monday and Tuesday, I was constantly busy. So last night was kind of the first night that I had gotten some good quality sleep in the sense of going to sleep early, but I had still woken up, throughout the night and stuff like that. And then also when I have allergies, I get super ingested and it is really annoying and it feels like a head cold. So mentally, I haven't been at like peak mentally, just with all the things that are going on. So Monday and Tuesday, even the weekend was kind of like a fever dream in the sense that I don't really remember much of what happened. And Monday and Tuesday, like same thing after I'd taken the trades, I don't really remember them, and I just know that I wasn't on the charts that much. And so when I was on the charts, oh, I gotta fix my mic. When I was on the charts and I had seen, setups, I was too zoomed in on taking those setups. Where, if I would have just waited a little longer, or I just would have, zoomed out and saw, okay, it's probably a little too early to enter, I would have caught some good setups. I mainly got stopped out break even Monday and Tuesdays. I did take one loss. I think it was on Monday. It was around a $200 loss. Until today, which today was better in the sense. But there was a few things that had gone wrong, which we will get into. So basically, in the morning, I wasn't really paying attention that much. I was paying attention between 10 to 11 to see if there was potentially something. As you can see, this is really all I had, drawn out. But after 11, I didn't really care because I knew, especially coming into lunch hour, there was for sure going to be chop, which is exactly what happened. Um, and so I'd gone out for a walk and just, try to, clear my mind a little bit after, like I said, just everything that had been happening recently. But coming into PM, this is where I was starting to look for a setup once after we had gotten news. We saw a little bit of accumulation here, was looking to see a manipulation move down before inversing this fair value gap. We did not get that. Once we got to about this point, I had also noticed this could be, or sorry, actually, it wasn't until this point that I had noticed we were starting to look like we were in a market maker buy model, wanting to come out and take these points of interest that I had and potentially even take out, all time highs and come up to here as we are trading around all time highs. But before the market maker buy model, I had been seeing that we were holding this huge higher time frame SMT since 9:30 in the morning, as you can see here. And with SMTs, yes, they don't have to be respected, but one thing I've noticed is when there are these like longer time frame SMTs, these really do hold and have a strong conviction. So yeah, with this, and then once we got to about here, which I'll get into that trade in a sec, this is when I noticed that the draw was the on liquidity was for sure higher. This was strong conviction. But coming into this first trade, this is when we had finally, after news, kind of got the what looked to be like a little leg move down, accumulation, and then having a distribution move. Um, we had inverse this 2 minute fair value gap. I had entered a little late. As you can see, that is where my entry was. My entry should have been here. So entry to break even was too close. It was about 5 points. Once we had got there, said stopped at break even. Ended up getting stopped at break even. If I did enter here, I would have got stopped at break even, but it doesn't matter. My original entry should have been here. After that, waited. This is where, for the first time in a while, I would say this was kind of FOMO. At the sense of when I had taken the trade, I didn't really realize it, but I just looked at like the 2 minute, that we had saw that we had this fair value gap here. Was waiting for it to get, okay, what's going on here? Was waiting for it to get inverse. Once it got inverse, ended up entering. Same thing. it was a late entry, but it doesn't matter because just because I had inverse or just because we had inverse this fair value gap doesn't mean it was a viable entry, as there was nothing to really give us, like an entry such as like a manipulation move or anything like that. Really, I had just gotten stuck in the accumulation before a like little manipulation that we'll see. But yeah, ended up getting stopped out. So I would say this trade was unnecessary. It was a FOMO trade in the sense, even though I didn't realize it, it was. But this could have prevented a loss right there. And then also, because of that loss here, I'm going to remove this now. I kind of also, in the sense, took a trade in wanting to over leverage, which, you know, over leverage, I wouldn't really say it was over leveraging. I wouldn't consider two cons over leverage, but in the sense that I had already taken the loss and stuff like that, I basically wanted to, because of how strong the conviction was too, wanted to now make this my break even, this internal swing high. First take a profit here and second take profit here, uh, with two cons, which would have really been nice. But it's the fact that I've already taken a loss. If you know, I've already taken a loss. I shouldn't be upping my size. If anything, I should be downsizing. Whereas my initial trade should be like two cons, and then my next one after that, if taking a loss, should be half of that. So I ended up going in two cons once we had this little manipulation move down. We inverse this 1 minute. I had entered. I think that was the first good entry that I had that wasn't late. But then right after that, got stopped out. Now this was the real manipulation leg. We had the accumulation, a little fake out outside of it, and then this was the real move down. So again, this really should have been my first good loss. You know, this is one of those things where it's you can't really tell that this is going to be a little fake out manipulation. um it was a good loss, besides the fact of having two cons on the line. But now after that, we had this move down, and we had this was a real, like I said, the real manipulation move down. This is where we had then inversed a 2 minute. Again, same thing. Late entry. I will say it is because of having to switch back and forth between Top Step and Trading View, which usually I have them side by side, but today I just didn't. And I just kept missing my entries by going back and forth, which is the one thing I hate about trading on Top Step X. But yeah, got my late entry. Two cons again. Again, should have been two cons. Entry should have originally been right here. But here's where this went wrong. I had already taken two losses. What I was risking, as well as with the losses I had already taken, not very, wasn't very. How do you? Oh my gosh, I'm stuttering over here. Wasn't very comfortable risking what I was risking. I really should not have gone into cons. Maybe not even one NQ, if anything, five micros. But usually I wouldn't take even a trade after already two losses and the one break even. But because the conviction was so strong, that is why. But now fear started to play into the fact of not wanting to, or not allowing myself to risk any more than I had, or like lead into a bigger loss than what I already had on the day. So I moved my once we got to right here, I'd move my stop to break even too early, and a couple of minutes, ended up getting stop to break even. Um, and if I would have also entered where I should have entered, I would have been a ticket drawdown. It would have been a little different. Um, but I'm not saying I still probably wouldn't have moved it to break even, which would have really even sucked because it would have been, I think, one or two ticks in a drawdown. And yeah, as soon as I got stopped to break even and came to the original entry, we had that move up. I could have moved my stop to break even where I should have been, and I would have been totally fine. We would have ran past that point, took out the equal highs. That's where my first take profit would have been, and the second take profit would have been to tap into this 15-minute fair value gap that we had left here. And instead of having a negative $500 day, we would have had around like $1,100, been up around $1,100 after subtracting the you know, the first loss that I taken, which again, if I would have even taken uh that trade, or wait, sorry, no, I'm getting myself confused here. Sorry, that would have taken out both of the trades, which was yeah already 500. Sorry, so I would have been up around $900 on the day. Um, so basically, things that really went wrong today. Uh, Again, I wouldn't call over leveraging, but using more size than I should have after losses. FOMOing into the trade and you know moving my stop to break even too early with not letting the bias play out. But then again, that also comes down to putting on more size than I should have. So yeah, there was a few things that went wrong with today. Uh, Again, all three of these. Oh wait, sorry. Yeah, this one, and this one were you know good entries in the fact of that the convictions were there for them. I mean, again, some of them the entries were a little late, but just too much size and moving the stop to break even too early. So yeah, there was a few things that went wrong. It's something to learn from. Again, we're still barely hanging on from a thread from last week. I was up around 1700, so we're almost taking out those gains. But depending how Thursday and Friday go, I honestly think we can get it back and more, just by you know training my model and being smart with it. But that's basically it for today. Just really wanted to get this out, even though I hate getting this out. I feel like I sound so stupid and just the way things went, but it is what it is. Got to put the ego aside and we got to learn from my mistakes. So yeah, that's it for today. I don't know how the rest of the week is gonna be. If I'm gonna trade or not, but we will see. Yeah, have a good one. Peace.